Welcome to month one in our monthly wellness series. My name's Todd Mitchum. Now, for the next 8 months, we're going to be exploring together the 8 dimensions of wellness. And my goal is to work with you so that integrating these tools into your business and personal life is both simple and enjoyable. Now, as with each of our monthly videos, I will discuss ways to implement all of the tools I give you from both what we call an internal and an external perspective. So what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is that you will learn ways to manage your mindset around these dimensions. And then from an external perspective, you'll be able to apply these lessons to different areas of your life. And keep in mind, and I really mean this, we're all in this together, regardless of where you work or who you work with or the struggles you are currently facing in your work or at home. You are not alone. That's what's so important about this wellness initiative. The team here wants you to thrive, and this is the main reason that we're rolling out all of these tools. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get started. So for the last 2 years, even if we worked closely together, we were, as a society, mainly incredibly isolated. From keeping our distance to wearing masks seemingly everywhere, many of the social aspects of life we enjoyed really needed to be put on hold. But now we're all emerging back to more social connectivity in both our personal and our work lives. This month, we're going to kick off our wellness dimensions by learning how to integrate ourselves back into a social setting at work and in our personal lives. Now today, one of the things I wanted to do to really kick us off is I wanted to discuss the aspect of social wellness really from the category of internal focus. So you'll hear me quite a bit define words and phrases all throughout this series. Now, why do I do that? Well, I do it because I want us all to be on the same page when we say certain words. So you will hear me define many phrases and words all throughout this Wellness Dimension series. So let's get started with the definition around internal focus from a social wellness perspective. From the more introverted individual to the extrovert and literally everywhere in between, we all process social situations very differently. Each of us has what are called conscious and unconscious goals and agendas for all of our social interactions. And by the way, like I said, it can be different depending on if you're more extroverted or introverted. Some people really dread a lot of forced social interaction, and other people really thrive on being in person with others. Regardless of where you are, there's going to be something here for you, and we're here to support you as you reintegrate back into social settings, both at work and at home in your personal life. So you might be asking yourself, what do we really know about the benefits of social interaction anyway? Well, much has been learned, obviously, about the benefits of social support on the elderly and how them having a strong social network is really important. However, as the last couple of years have taught us, we all must have some sort of social interactions to feel balanced, to feel healthy. A recent study on incoming college freshmen found that social support was effective in reducing depression in both those who have healthy self-esteem and those with a poor self-image. The authors of the study found that belonging to a social network, a group, a friend group, a network at work, helped people ease the stress of people entering university life. But as we work and age, social involvement is also incredibly important. A lot of times we think it isn't as we get older and we have families or we have children or our work gets very busy. But actually, as we work in age, social involvement is incredibly important. In a study of Europeans over the age of 50, they found that individuals who participated in social or community activities were far more likely to report good or overall very good health, both mentally and physically. So the question you're asking yourself is, well, number one, how do I feel about social wellness? So one of the pieces of internal social wellness is asking yourself that. You've got to be able to pause for a minute and ask yourself, what kind of social interactions actually make you feel good or bad? So, for example, for me, I tend to be a far more extroverted person. So I prefer much more populated areas. I like to be around different groups of people. I really thrive at dinner parties or events or being out with others like at a concert. But I have another really, really good friend of mine, and he is very introverted. So when we are out or doing something, we do things more like hiking together or taking a walk or just talking on the phone or something. We don't really get engaged in large social events because it's just not something that he wants to be a part of. I know what makes me feel good in a social environment, and he knows what makes himself feel really good and what empowers him to want to interact more with other people. It's not to say that he's antisocial, and that's a really important part of this. If you find yourself being more introverted, it doesn't mean you're antisocial. It just means you like and have different preferences around how you socialize with others. So one of the first questions you need to ask yourself is, what kind of social settings do I actually enjoy? Do you enjoy going to a happy hour? Do you enjoy going to concerts? Do you like to be in large groups? Or do you more prefer being with one-on-one, kind of individualized interactions or smaller groups? And that's okay. Either answer is the right answer because it's the right answer for you. Which leads me to my next question. So, what stops you from being more social? So once you understand what social preferences you like, and that's the first part, remember that's very important, well then the question you're asking is, well then what stops me from doing it? What stops me from being social? Oftentimes in our busy lives as adults, it's very easy to make up excuses to not be social. Well, I'm busy, or I'm tired, or I don't really have time, or things like that. But the truth is, refer back to those studies I just mentioned, it's incredibly critical that we interact on a social level. But you've got to ask yourself, what is stopping you from being more social? By the way, I'm not saying that you should just jump into going to something that makes you really feel uncomfortable. That's not the goal of social wellness. The goal of social wellness, especially on the internal focus section, is for you to start asking yourself some questions about what you prefer and how you prefer to interact. Another question to ask yourself is, are you more visual? In other words, do you like imagery? Do you like movies? Do you like things that really stimulate your mind from an image perspective? Are you more kinesthetic? And what that basically means is you like to do things that really feel good. Lots of adrenaline, maybe you like to go for runs, maybe you like to be at concerts. So kinesthetic is more how things make me feel. Or are you more auditory? Would you rather sit and have a nice conversation with someone to gather information or understanding or to socialize? None of them are wrong. And by the way, some of them can be combined. Some people are very visual, but also like to really feel good when they're watching or being a part of some social setting. There is no wrong answer again, but the question you want to ask yourself again is, am I more of one of those things or the other? So for example, if you're a very auditory person who prefers more one-on-one, quiet setting interactions, you may choose to go for a walk with someone or have coffee, versus if you're a person who really likes kinesthetic environments and you want to be at a big happy hour, or you want to go hang out with a large group of people. Either way is fine, either way is good, and even combinations are fine and normal. But again, what we're building here is an awareness so that you start to have an awareness about your preferences. You know, so much of wellness in general, and you'll hear me say this all throughout the series, so much of our personal wellness is about us understanding ourselves. And then we can make better decisions and better choices about how to be well for ourselves. There is no one way for wellness for all people. Everyone's individualized, and so everyone has to think about these as an individual. And it's okay. Like I said, you could be more visual or more feeling and kinesthetic or more auditory. Either way, it's what's right for you that I want you to find out. So the reason I've given you these proven questions is that by answering these questions, you can start to prepare your mind for more thoughtful interactions that make your life better, not worse. I mean, how terrible would it be if we had a wellness interaction that made your life worse? That's not the goal. We want your life to be better. We want your work to be better. We want you to be more fulfilled and feel better about everything that you're interacting with and everyone that you're interacting with. So these questions that I've given you, they are proven questions that if you answer them, they will help you figure out your own level of social desire. what activities you can engage in, no matter your preferences. And the bottom line is how to prepare yourself for this post-pandemic reintegration we're all experiencing into more social living and working and interacting situations. And I really hope, sincerely, I hope this video helps you begin to understand more about you, more about how, why, and when you can be more social in a way that fits your style. Now, in the next video, coming out in a couple weeks, we're going to discuss more external focused activities so you can get out there, start nurturing your socialization with others in your preferred way. So I do invite you to answer these questions on your own, think about them, think about the way you like to interact, who you like to interact with, and how you like to interact with them. Because I can tell you this, regardless of your preferences, regardless of those preferences, I want you to know something. I want you to know that we are in this together. And that's how we're gonna find the right balance, the right way to socialize for you. So remember, ask yourself these questions when thinking about social wellness. Number one, what social settings do I enjoy? Number two, what stops me from being social? And number three, am I more auditory, visual, or feeling based? We'll see you on the next video.